Alright, so my Paper City home here. Talking today about the Airdog2-4G. Alright, so I went and got new filters for it and decided I was going to change my fuel filter and my water fuel separator. And so here's the deal. I went ahead and did that, and then ended up changing the fuel filter up top in the engine bay. Well, went to start it, no bueno. And went looking on YouTube, found a couple different videos that talked about airlock in the fuel injectors, and I was thinking I was done. I had done the change here, and there's another video online, Thoroughbred Diesel I think makes it, where it talks about the procedure for doing this, and I followed that procedure. Went up, changed the top, got in the truck. It's a 2008 Ford F-250, 6.4 liter diesel. Got in the truck, hit the ignition key, and started up. Ran about 10 seconds, shut off. But before I tried to start it, I did the deal where you hit the ignition key and you let it run for the 30 seconds, and then you do that 6 times. And you know, I thought I was going good to go, had everything the way it was supposed to be. And so like I said, when I finally did decide to crank it, I cranked it, run about 10 seconds, shut off. Tried to crank it again, start up, maybe 2 seconds, shut off. And I was in the dreaded land of, oh my God, I've got an airlock in my fuel injectors. And I'm looking online, and there's adapters, and people are talking about hundreds of dollars about these Ford adapters and everything. But I want to see, excuse me, what was going on. So I had a little bit of off-road diesel for my backhoe that I had that top fuel filter off. I poured it down into the housing for the fuel filter, and I came down here to the Airdog, and I loosened up the fuel filter, and some of the red, because you know that off-road diesel's tinted red, some of the red run back around here. And so I said, well, let me see. So I hit the key, and you know the pump comes on for 30 seconds when you hit the key. So I hit the key, and I loosened up this knot, and as soon as I loosened this, and I had this loosened probably about a turn, as soon as I loosened this, all of a sudden that thing started spitting out fuel. So tighten that back up and it stops. So I loosened it again, that thing started spitting fuel. So what I did was, I left this turned off about 1 turn, and I took this filter completely off. Now, my assumption is that the fuel filter at top was breaking suction, so I went ahead and put the filter back in there and the housing back on, tightened everything up. So I took the water fuel separator filter off, and I took that off-road diesel. I filled it completely up, because if you look in Airdog on their website, it tells you that if you can't get prime, which is what was happening, to put your finger on the stub that this fuel water separator fits onto and see if it has suction. It did. It wasn't a lot of suction, granted. I mean, you put your thumb up there, you could tell it had a little bit of suction. But so what I did was I took this filter off, and I filled it completely full of that diesel fuel. Stuck it back up here, screwed it on good, had this one about 1 turn loose, hit the knob, and as soon as I did, this thing started spitting fuel. Well, I let it spit fuel for a minute just to make sure it was going to continue, and tightened it back up. And as soon as I did, this motor in this thing kind of sounds like you got rocks in it or something when it's not got prime. As soon as I tightened that back up, that motor, you could tell definite change in the way the motor sounded, and I knew I had prime. So tightened everything good and hand tight, got up in the cab, and then I went back through the series of making sure that I went through and hit the key, let it run for 30 seconds. And basically, if you're sitting in the driver's seat, turn the key to the on position without trying to start it. You'll hear the motor. The motor did its 30-second deal. You'll hear it shut off. I did that 8 times. After the 8th time, I said a good prayer, hit the key, maybe took 2-3 seconds, thing fired up, and has run ever since. So I'll give the Airdog credit for overcoming the issue that I was having with the air problem. The only problem that I had with the Airdog was getting the pump to prime, and my problem with priming the pump rested in that water fuel separator filter. So I mean, this is the very first time I've ever changed a filter on that thing, and my recommendation to you honestly would be to go ahead and fill that filter up completely with diesel fuel before you screw it on there. All right. Other than that, buy a big truck, move some big mud. I mean, my Tabor City home here. Let's get out there. Let's do something. Let's build something. Let's fix something. Let's do something with our hands. America's not a disposable nation. Work on your truck. God bless. Have a great day.